at WLFE-DB.com for upcoming shows and so much more.
Hey everyone, it's Tuesday night again. You know what that means, don't you? It's time to join Mike and Christy for another episode of Where's My Sage? A show hosted by a psychic medium and a guy on a quest to find Bigfoot. Who would have thought? Together, they will take you on all sorts of adventures, and not with lots of different people. Christy even gives readings. It's time to sit back, get up and get ready. You can't sample the universe sitting down. Your hosts are waiting. Come on, let's go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Where's My Sage, A Taste of the Universe. I'm Mike with my wonderful co-host, Christy London. How are you this evening, Christy?
I'm great. How are you?
Are
you calmer than you were a little while ago?
I'm still throwing things around.
Okay.
It's one of those days. I don't have a babysitter for my fur babies, so trying to get my shop reevaluated and moved around so we can do the show, and now winter's in session so I can start making some knives again.
Wait a second, did you just call your wife the babysitter?
Somebody's got to watch Tweedledee and Tweedledum over there.
That's like saying a parent's going to babysit their own kid.
Yeah, so somebody's got to watch them while we're doing the show.
Getting in trouble.
If not, I'm going to have a German Shepherd on this side of the screen and a Doberman over here, which may happen sometime tonight. So, folks,
I would much rather look at the German Shepherd and the Doberman. Just saying.
Most of the time, yes, I would definitely like to look at my dogs more than me. So, I'm ugly, I'm old. So we got folks coming in tonight. We've got a crazy evening going tonight. So, we've got some new faces here. Hi. Lovey.
Lovey. Yes, you said that right.
Nice to know.
You're like, am I reading this right?
She's playing Paranoid. Well, you know what? Tonight, maybe I should put you in charge of the hellos and goodbyes.
Absolutely. Here we go.
Hey, Brenda. All right,
because
go
I
ahead.
I am going to actually play.
It's your
MC
job
tonight.
this evening, so let's rock and roll.
It is. I'm telling you.
Start in this corner tonight.
So tonight we're going to try to treat my partner and my friend here like he's actually kind of a little important.
Oh God!
What are you doing?
Don't feed me. I'm trying to get some good lighting here.
Stuff.
What
the hell?
If you could see what I got going over here, there's a mess over here. So.
Oh, I can imagine.
Oh yeah.
I can only imagine. So anywho, but yeah, you still get to like do everything in the back. I can just handle the comments, but so let's see, who'd we miss? And I promise I'm not going to block anybody on purpose. Hello, Penny, and hello, Shayna, and hello, let's see, Margaret and Michelle, one of the most important viewers. Why
do I feel like we're in romper room tonight with the I see is what it sounds like on that side. This is not the banana split episode.
I didn't happen to like that show that much. I thought it was kind of corny. I liked Mr. Dress Up.
Before my time.
My favorite.
All right.
So let's see. Grandma would like to see her granddogs. There you go. See?
Yeah, they're in the other room. So
yeah.
They're in the houses on the other side. So,
and who else do we have here? We have Colette all the way across the world. Where'd she go? Oh, see, it moved up, so I missed it. There we go. And I know I'm going to give you a heart attack. And Travis is here, and Robert. Oh, Kim. Hi, Kim. I'm going to just go out of my way to purposely try to rattle my friend over here.
It's done. I'll go outside.
Tara Redden Phillips, hello. Let's see though, because usually it's me on this spot and you get to just kind of hide on the other side and do your thing and read a little bit of the comments. And tonight the tables have turned, my dear partner.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you got your cohorts here too. And we have, let's see, who's this? Unilizzy? All right, 333. Hello. And let's see, Matt is here. All right, Matt.
Hello,
Central
brother.
Bigfoot, Florida Bigfoot. My bad.
Oh, it's not that easy, is it?
Okay. All right, let's go. You get to talk about stuff you already do. Let's see you give a reading. Oh, wait, you can't. Oh, Mike's in rare form tonight, you guys. So we're going to have to bust his chops. He's like way up here. Usually I'm the one who's like way up here. And, you know, he's, yeah.
Just remember, we're a pet-friendly show this evening, folks. We are definitely a pet-friendly show this evening.
So what's been going on?
Well, cool thing. You know, our friends at Small Town Monsters sent me some little things this week.
Oh, very
a little
cool.
on the trail button.
All right.
Oh, I moved my chair, so now I can't get to my drawer. And some cool new, well, you guys have seen this one. This is On the Trail of Bigfoot, the journey that I was in. And then they sent me some really, really, like I said, cool artwork of their On the Trail of UFOs.
That's right. They have a new one that came out too.
That's been out. Yep. Well, we're getting there. There's that one. And this is their Howl of the Rougarou. That's out.
Of the what?
Howl of the Rougarou.
There you go. Just wanted to hear you say
I got that one right. And got another Journey poster. So I got my thing. So I got mine behind me. That's pretty
cool.
And oh wait, it gets better. And then guys, at midnight last night came out the new one. On the Trail of Bigfoot, the Discovery. That's in the PNW. That's the Nest guys. That's Shane Corson. And I can picture everybody's faces today. David Ellis, who does sound, and the big guy. And it'll come to me in a minute. And I can so see his face right now, and it's not going to come to me. Anyway, sent me a cool shirt to go with it. So, you know, I do like
hold that up. All right,
so
there you go.
Cool.
Oh, that's cool. Where's mine?
Well, see, this is what happens when you sponsor their stuff. Then their case files stuff. I mean, they went crazy, and I got my new copy of the Discovery.
Awesome. I think you should bring that T-shirt with us to the show tomorrow night, and I want to look at it up close, and you just might not get it back.
And a walker. You know what? I got this other poster. Maybe I'll bring one of those for... I'll sign it and whatever. So,
I was going to say, you'll sign it. Oh, you'll sign it.
And I don't know. Anyway, along with that.
Well.
So along with all these things, Mark Macketsky that we had on with Seth put the companion book together. So each of these movies, they went through and documented how the progressions went with the movies, and it's not working so well with my screen here. But yours truly.
Was show and tell your favorite subject in school?
Yeah. No, not really. But you know, Alex is in this, Seth is in this, and then
I mean, I can just see you standing up, you know, in your little, you know, Jordache or your little corduroy pants when you were little, and you know, and holding your book up like the teacher would, and pointing everything out. And
yep, but I can't find it now. Oh well. Anyway,
yeah, that's pretty cool. Seth's done a lot of great things, and they're becoming so big.
Yeah, well, you owe me in the middle of this thing talking about an event, one of the first adventures I had with the guys at Nest.
Very cool.
So,
so you're in that book. So everybody buy that book. Hold it up.
Too. So this is the companion book. You had to be part of the Kickstarter.
Gotcha.
So folks that were at certain levels of Kickstarter, they got that, and they're going to be doing that. They're actually going to start a whole Monsteropolis setup. So, so that's kind of been going on. So, you know, they sent me some other stickers and.
No, Michelle, it's not. No, I'm usually checking grammar and spelling and you know, having to rewrite.
But you know, some of this stuff is over on their YouTube channel, and like I said, Seth and those guys and Alex have been pretty good, and they've got their Kickstarters coming back out in September, and they've got American Werewolves coming out, Bigfoot: The Last Frontier, another On the Trail of UFOs, and Bloodlines: The Jersey Devil Curse.
Wait,
those are the movies for next year. So if you sponsor next year, you know, put your name in a credit.
It's awesome.
All right. So
no, seriously, it's great. You know, like when you watch the fireworks.
Okay. So that's what we got going. That came in the mail. So thanks to those guys. Matt's gonna win the lotto. You know what?
No, sorry, Matt.
Yeah,
there's a very long line for those numbers anyways, and I'm definitely on that list myself, so that's just not going to happen.
She's not going to give it to me either. So
how would I do
that? Speaking of crazy events that we have coming up tomorrow night, let me bring it up.
We're going to be busy tomorrow. Yes, we're going to be traveling a little bit. Not far, but enough.
Yep.
So tomorrow we are going to be live in person. Ooh, what the hell is that? That's like some sort of flying bug just like came over and was like, hey, what's up? And then flew away. Okay. Ooh, it's in my room. Crap. That means I have to kill it and hope it doesn't go in my sheets. Anywho, so yes. So tomorrow we are going to be doing a live in-person Q&A about all things paranormal, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, spirituality, really whatever you want to talk about. And then followed by a gallery reading. So doors open at 6. And 7 to 8, we're going to do the Q&A. And then from 8 to 10, we're going to do the gallery reading. So it's going to be a terracotta coffee house over in Alfred. The village, I think it said the village of...
It's in Alfred. Yes, it's on Main Street in the village of Alfred. Yeah. And so it's right between Alfred University and Alfred State College. It's a fundraiser for the Pioneer Paranormal Society, which are students of Alfred State College. So,
and if you're a student, it's only $32 to get in, and $40 for non-students or for the community. So, yeah, it's a really great cause. Come on out. You can talk to the members of the team there as well, and it's going to be fun. So, let's hope the weather doesn't go to shit. I have a 2-hour or something drive ahead of me, so it's all good. Yeah, very excited though. It's going to be a good time. So come on out and see us. Yeah. What else? Oh, so we have. So remember how I had said that unfortunately, When Darkness Falls, the show that I was filming with another group, we filmed and then it kind of got put on hold, and then shows in that genre for the particular station or channel that was going to play it or air it, it ended up not being able to happen. So it's been put on hold for a little while, and we just received word that there might be another avenue we're going to go down, and stay tuned for more details because I'm not allowed to say a whole lot just yet, but we're really excited because we're going to be able to hopefully in the near future have our show air after all. So stay tuned and keep your eyes on our pages for When Darkness Falls, and we'll give you guys details as they come up. So really excited about that. Hopefully sooner rather than later too. So yeah. All right. So let's see here. Ooh, is this validation? Chanel. Oh, I'm so glad. Thanks for tuning in too. I'm really happy that everything worked out for you. Thank you for that. Awesome. All right. So, Michael, my friend, my partner in crime, you've been busy.
Yeah. So
as much goofing around as we do, everybody, and for as much as, we like to have fun and get out there, Mike's actually a pretty smart guy. And not too long ago.
Who's smart? Not me.
Oh, so was this born of like an after hours kind of a party event?
No. Just we did some work. We came up with some stuff, and working with some equipment, we rocked some stuff out. So
there you go. I mean, because one night I was sitting at home and I kept hearing like this ding, 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 and come to find out, my buddy over here had a pretty awesome, incredibly advanced idea, and it has now developed into something that's kind of rocked the Bigfoot and investigation, the whole idea of investigating in general. Correct?
It's not bad. Yeah. So
it's so just not bad that he's been on like 4 podcasts in 2 weeks just to talk about this theory that he's come up with.
Yeah.
So,
and we forgot to bring it here first. So
right, go figure. I mean, he was busy, Mr. Big Shot over there. Just, he booked up. I couldn't get him. What can I tell you? So, Michael, what's going on? Because you kind of rock the world on your side of the fence over there.
So let me move my chair here a little bit here. And so for folks, first of all, I didn't do my usual please like, share, subscribe. Check out our podcast, our audio podcast. You can find that on Apple, Spotify, Spreaker, all your favorite podcast locations. Please like, please share. If you're out on Facebook tonight, please like, share, or follow our Instagram and our YouTube. So there's that.
Perfect.
So, we've had some really great guests, and I come from a criminal justice background. I come from an archaeology background, and you guys know I can't talk. I'm fine.
This is your big moment. Let's go. Don't screw it up.
It's far from being a big moment. But as we go out in the field, there's certain equipment we're going to take with us, and I have a tendency of taking a couple different lights. If you guys get a chance, go over to Central Florida Bigfoot's YouTube page. Matt's got some great video of working together. And it's probably one of the first places you're going to see me actually demonstrate it's one of the pieces of equipment I use a lot. Be it if we're out on an investigation for paranormal or Bigfoot, I tend to take with me a UV light with me. And it's ultraviolet light. Pardon?
Yeah, like 10. You usually have like 10 of them with you.
There's usually one. So I tend to carry a UV light with me. It's something I use. You're going to see something. A UV light is very similar to the old-fashioned black lights. It is a little different on wavelengths. But this particular one pretty much goes with me everywhere. When we started to do our live shows, of course, Matt's going to get a lot of prompts, and I did not bring anything to drink with me tonight. It's in the wrong drawer, but I watched Matt use this wonderful thing called a gimbal. So,
I gotcha.
Yeah. So
that's our drinking game for everybody in the audience. Yep. Whenever we say gimbal, you got to take a swig of something.
Yeah. So I went out and got myself one of these wonderful little gimbals, and this one's for my cell phone so we can film. But when we film paranormal show, we film Bigfoot stuff, we're out in the dark.
Right.
So, and we first started with one of my my Chromebook to film when we were doing the show with a web camera. And we really try to figure out, that's got to be closed up later, how to film under different lighting conditions. And that's the one I'm looking for next. So I tried green lights, we tried blue lights, but you know what? When you take a bright light like that and try to shine it on your partner who's a medium, she kind of loses her thoughts and you lose your night vision and can't see anything.
Blind medium. That's the connection.
And we tried some smaller lights with some other different light colors, and we went with red. Still kind of blinds you a little bit. So finally, in my infinite wisdom, I said, look, I have an infrared spotlight. So actually, the first show we filmed, we used my night vision, which has an IR spotlight on it.
Right.
We put this on a tripod, very cumbersome to walk around. That's when we filmed the USS Salem.
Yep.
And then I went to handheld flashlights. So you guys can see that. Well, technically, there's no light here. Can you see any light here? No. But when I turn it up this way and put it on the camera towards the camera, you can see the light. So this is IR. Right. So I experimented with the IR. And then I came back to my little buddy UV light. And I realized something, that I was seeing some different combinations with UV light. And I had seen some scientific journals about, cool, flying squirrels and coming up pink.
Matt, you have no idea. None. Well, maybe you do a little bit, but oh boy, trying to work with him and trying to explain that you just got to go with the flow with my connection, it's a lot different. So it works much better with your side of things. But yeah.
So we, so I noticed the UV light was making some things. I also saw some articles on the Tasmanian devils and the platypus from Australia and a couple other marsupials, that they pop a teal green color under UV light. But this is just under UV light, so direct UV light. So I said, well, let's see. And again, that UV light, that black light, you remember when you walked in the room from college and you had the dandruff and it pops out, underneath the black light there.
Sure.
We always found that kid. Anyway, so
moving along.
Okay, here. Not how it mattered tonight. Anyway, I realized that the UV light could really help when we look at different samples of hair and everything. Good evening, Greg. And Jean, how are you? So we had Doug Hychek on the show. And Doug is the mastermind behind Legend Meets Science, a whole bunch of outdoor shows, and Monster Quest. Monster Quest is one of those things that helped get me started on this journey a long time ago. So I'd reached out to Doug after he was on our show and said, hey, Doug, have you ever tried using UV light with, the camera phones or anything like that? And things kind of, he's got the new project coming. It kind of got lost. And then my partner and him started talking to him about some other projects. And I heard him on another show mention that, caribou can see in UV and certain other animals. And I said, hey, did you ever get a chance to try that? And he said, no. And a couple hours later, he came back to us and said, hey, I have a sample of what I think might be Bigfoot hair. And I did what you asked. I turned around and got the UV light out, and we ran it underneath the UV light, and he used a small jeweler's lens. And then with the UV and his iPhone camera, the video on his phone, and was able to get a reaction of some sort. It basically, the hair, and I'll explain a little bit more in a few minutes. I've got a little document over here with some background, kind of like Dr. Fehrenbach's stuff, on looking at possible Sasquatch hair. And what he had noticed is that hair has medulla, and to really look at hair is really, you got to go on for a while, and you got to go through and take a look at how the structure of hair is put through. But there's basically a medulla. It's the center section of the hair, and the particular hair sample he has has a broken medulla, and where he hits it with the UV light, it looks like when you look at a fiber optic, how that light cuts through a fiber optic cable. So Doug got this reaction. He reached out to a buddy of his. He tried 28 species of animal that he had access to hair to at that time. None of that hair reacted. From there, he tried some of his own hair. It didn't. I tried some hair from around here. Both dogs probably don't like me after I got done, chasing them around the house to brush them so I could get some shepherd hair, Doberman hair.
Babies.
But we got some samples, and we've tried some of those samples. And in my desk here, I've actually got some Holstein hair that was given to me by one of my coworkers. And we tried that. So we got some cow hair that we've tried. And so we've run it with the UV light underneath your cell phone, and it's gone through. Also, we were out with Joe from Western New York Bigfoot investigation group, and we found some porcupine hair. So we bagged it, tagged it, and we've tried that. That's in this bag. I have porcupine quills and the date and the whole bit.
I have a question about that.
Yep. Go ahead.
Number one, I had no idea porcupines actually had hair. I thought they were just prickly. And two, how the hell did you get any porcupine hair without getting stuck or pricked?
Okay, so we're out doing the research.
Inquiring minds want to know.
And that night we took 2 dogs with us, and they were kind of tracking in on something. I pulled out the handy dandy UV, and actually that night I had my blue light with me. Went over the ground, and I noticed what was kind of a funky, grainy, grassy looking thing. And sure enough, when I got in closer to take a look and we were able to take a sample, it was a hide of a porcupine, and it was actually in a couple different sections. So, yes, Greg, I am, and I'm going to be there in one quick second on the hair. And so I was able to gather it. And we went through the process of gathering the hair that evening. While we were on our way down there, we actually came up with a couple other ways of gathering hair, and I'm going to get into some of that a little bit later. Somewhere, yeah. There's Joe. So in our super expensive hair collection method, and we'll be showing that a little bit.
I love that.
That's, plastic.
It's just so clever. You just don't realize how the simplest things that you have probably at the ready at home, right? Or cheap enough to go get. I think that's hysterical. It's awesome. Yes. Absolutely awesome.
So we collected the hair. We tried the hair. We run it underneath some samples, and I have a small video microscope that basically I can hook this into the computer, and if it comes back up, it's coming online now. But this allows me to give stills, and if I put my finger underneath, you can look at different things. And
I can't help it. Here you go.
So this allows us to really take a look and get some information. Or we can just use good old-fashioned tweezers with a magnifying glass.
Right.
So Doug we tried a couple of different things, and I said, all right, we need to expand this, and we need to get some help. So Greg, to come back to your question, yes. So from that, working with my unnamed scientist partner, who's part of our research group, and working with Doug, we came up with the Sasquatch pink hair experiment. And share screen. And again, folks, please like, share, subscribe. I can't forget about that. So come over to the other screen here. And so this is a guide using UV light to identify possible Sasquatch hair. And of course, we have our old table of contents, and this is available. If you would like to be part, go ahead.
I just want to kind of back up for a second, because in case anybody's listening or watching and they're not too familiar, especially with you individually, with your background, with how you got started, give us a really quick recap why you got started in Bigfoot and why you continue to look for and search for Bigfoot. Really quick, and then we can get into it later. But just so people have an idea of how you got to this point.
I can do that. Let me just get a different layout here so folks can see this a little bit better. There we go. So I got into Bigfooting as a crazy offshoot. I was talking to some gentlemen about the possible big cat sightings in New York. And the gentleman I was talking to worked for a state law enforcement agency. And he said, well, that really doesn't happen. I said, okay, but what about the one that we found in Connecticut? Well, it had to come across somewhere, blah, blah, blah. It was from the Midwest. Okay, he goes, but while I was working in Chautauqua County, which is in the western part of New York, down near Lake Erie on the Pennsylvania border kind of area, down in that Ohio side, that he had taken quite a few reports for Bigfoot, quote unquote, Bigfoot related stuff. Well, I filed it away with like, okay, yeah, Bigfoot, whatever. Anyway, we have a guy I work with, kind of looks like, big hairy ape and Bigfoot, and always got, he's got a nickname. He looks like one of the characters from the movie Congo. So I went through and Googled as a joke any Bigfoot sightings in Livingston County, and I let it slip. Anyway, I'm gonna have to go back and delete that later. Anyway, there was a sighting down the street from me, and it was in the local newspaper, and I sent that message out to quite a few folks and said, hey, this guy's got relatives, blah, 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 is a joke. And I got a response back from a couple of gentlemen, and one said, hey, I've got a couple of guys that work for me that are out looking in this particular area. And then a college buddy of mine that was part of that message group said, well, that doesn't happen, blah, blah, blah. State agency releases one Bigfoot with one mountain lion and one timber wolf. I said, okay, yep, whatever. Like John. And then I'm like, okay, this is just too weird. There's too many of these guys. I end up going out with some surgery for work. And I stuck watching TV, and I end up coming across Seth Breedlove's Small Town Monsters, The Beast of Whitehall. And as I'm Googling and finding these things, I'm like, okay, let me look at that Chautauqua County thing. So as I Google, Bigfoot Chautauqua County, New York, I come across a Bigfoot festival in Chautauqua County, Peter Weimer's event. And I went down there and I ran into Ryan Reading. Christy and I have both been out with Ryan. We took Christy out on her first real big Bigfoot hunt with Ryan in Chautauqua. Yeah. And
heard a scream that night.
Yep. At that event, I ended up meeting Steve Culls, the Squatch detective. And a couple hours later, Steve sent me an invite on Facebook, and hey, come join my team. And I've been tooling around with Steve all over the place, and he's 4 hours away. And he then introduced me to the guys from Nestra that are out of the Northeast, and they've been around since the original Bigfoot forums and everything. And I went on an event with them, and during that event, I came across some tracks, and saw that, Joe. I found a trackway and found a sample of what we thought was, some hair at that time. It fit all the criteria. And then short time after, I ended up at Eric Altman's event. And Eric, condolences on losing Woody today.
I know.
I gotta get that out to him. But at his event, I heard my first scream. That's where I met Jay and one of our first guests on the show. And Joe, they were on with Joe, Steve, and Cliff. We did that Bigfoot event or show back in the day. So if you guys are looking for a real cool show with some great East Coast, West Coast kind of thing.
Yeah, because I was not part of it.
Yeah, Christy was out surgery. Anyway, I got tied in, and after I found the hair, I reached out to a buddy of mine as a scientist and said, "Hey, can you take a look at this?" He thought I was messing with him, but then, hey, we wanted to get out and get in the woods, and we've been rocking it out. So and then we picked up some of you guys have seen Ray come on the show, who had a sighting. So that's where we've been, and we've met some really cool people along the way. Quite a few here, and I've been out with Joe and Matt from in Florida. So we've got to do a Florida trip. A lot of stuff here in New York, Pennsylvania. Christy's got to go. Yes, ma'am. Question?
I have a question. So when you say that the hair you found way back when, or the guys that, said, hey, we have some hair and it might meet all the criteria. What criteria are you talking about? Because how do we know what's a Bigfoot hair and what's not a Bigfoot hair if we don't, you know what I mean? Like, so what kind of criteria are you using?
So
or were you back then?
So we're all kind of using the. Let me come over to the other screen here.
So what you're talking about is something universal, correct? Like
yeah. So there was a
across the board here.
Dr. Fehrenbach, who gotten some samples, kind of gave the little rundown on what you're looking for, and right here. So it doesn't work in this so well. Anyway, so this is Doug put some of this stuff together, but it should be wispy and flexible. Close another screen here. So 1 second, come back over. The hair should be 3 to 9 inches long. It's not going to be short, little stubby hair. Go to the next screen, please.
Why do you think it's got a haircut though?
So let me get to it. It's slightly wavy in appearance when placed on a flat surface. Can be of any color. The ends are tapered. They will have a taper end present and does not look to be cut by mechanical means under a microscope. So when you look at it underneath a microscope, you will see a sharp cut where it doesn't look like it's worn down. So that's something we want to look for. And then yes.
So this is a hair sample that is something that was never identified, which is why we are using it as the basis to build from.
Right.
We've never, ever been able to compare it, find it, mesh with it, nothing.
That's where they're working with those. Okay. And then underneath a microscope, you'll see an intermittent medulla. Now, when you start looking at a lot of this stuff, there's a lot to go into hair. When you look at the follicle end of the hair, depending on the animal, it will be everything from a round to a spade shape to a corkscrew. Cats are kind of different from humans. And then depending on where you pull the hair from, be it from the head, the belly, the back, or the tail, you'll actually end up with different types of hair. So when we think of fur, fur and hair is still similar, but they're guard hairs or whatever. So when you were asking about the porcupine, we have to go in and open the bag and take the sample, and we'll see if we got some time for that a little later. But it's all in Chaplain. You are Chiefland Paranormal.
Sorry, I have to put it up there. That's funny. Because hey, that's a legitimate point. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. I can't hear you. Can you guys hear him? Hello? Can you guys hear him? Let us know in the chat if you can hear him. Okay.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can't hear you. You're muted. You're muted. You're muted.
Hey, I gotcha.
Okay, you guys can hear me now. All right. So
you guys hear him now? Okay, good. We're back. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. I think I might have tapped something. I got way too many things plugged in over here today.
Could you be careful, please?
If you're going to keep going like this today. Anyway. So,
we like when the tables are turned? Is that okay. So,
on your own.
But anyway, I was going to say, that was a legitimate point, because depending on where you take it, right, from different parts of the body, just like humans, the hair is different. So that's actually funny,
that's
but it's a good point.
But yes. that is in there, and you didn't let me get in and explain the whole little shingy-dingy there, buddy.
Wow. Do you see how anal retentive he is about this kind of stuff when he's actually focused? I'm just muting. That's it. You're done.
Yeah. Okay. I can unmute you too. Anyway, those original hairs actually look like pubic hairs. And when I did turn them over to my buddy for the original study, that's why it took so long to find out, because he thought I pulled his leg by sending him pubic hair. So when you look at that, it kind of crazy. So you guys can't hear me now again? London, can you hear me, please?
I can hear you.
Okay. So
I don't know about everyone else, and I don't know, but I can hear you, yes.
Okay. Can the rest of you guys hear me now? Somebody let me know if you can hear me. Yep. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So each of these things kind of comes into play when we look at the study. And there is a small section of the study that actually goes into what you're going to need. So we'll go back over to the screen here. Those different items come over to there. And again, guys, I got a couple of different screens go. You're going to need certain amounts of equipment to go ahead and pull those items. And this document actually goes through and explains everything you're going to need, from a digital camera to your cell phone to the microscope or a magnifying glass, your UV light source, and I'm going to get into those in a few minutes here, an IR flashlight, a ruler, a tape measure, GPS, gloves, sterile forceps, also known as tweezers, depending on how you're going to look at things. Surgical masks, acid-free paper, white and a black sheet of paper, pens, paper, envelopes, notebooks, tape, a hat, and hair covering. So everything we have, we're going to be working with. And this will literally walk you through on how you're going to take that sample of hair and what we're going to do, including photographing the discovery site, any photos of the area around, so the hair you found, where you found it, how high it's up, and then when I say an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that's going to be folded up, I'll show you guys that in a few minutes, because this is all going to go into the whole setup and recording all this data. And again, I can get all of this out to everybody at the request, how to put everything together, including what you're going to look for, how you're going to find those things in the breakdown. And you're going to break down things in samples. So
you just said this is something that you can get out to everybody. Like this is,
yes.
so this is a packet that you actually put together of information.
This is the full packet.
If somebody thinks, okay.
Yep. And to get a hold of me, and there's the whole procedure on how you're going to do everything. And you're going to turn around if you want to go ahead and get a hold of me. It's Bigfoot Hair 2021 at gmail.com. So again, Bigfoot Hair 2021 at gmail.com. And I don't want to throw it in there right now. I'll leave it up on there. That way I don't get any robots, throwing anything into that data. And that email goes out. You're sending me an email, and I will send you a copy of the packet. And inside the packet, there's I got to switch views, guys. Just one second. There is this envelope packet information, and this all can be filled in, and you can print it right off. So we are going to be looking for the date, the type of animal. So if you have a animal that you already know, a known animal, we want to know as well where it was taken off the animal. The collection, the color, the location, and GPS, and then again how we're going to break that down, and it's the fold. So basically, you're folding a paper in thirds. Very simple. So I'm going to do it quick, but it's in thirds. Third here. What's the third here? And we are making an envelope. We are making what we call a pharmacist envelope. So when we open the envelope, that hair sample is going to go in that center. Oh, let me close this out for a minute. Stop share.
That's pretty.
Go in that center one
specific, here. But that makes it very.
So that goes in there.
People.
The hair folds in, folds down over again. That goes over. That goes over, and then all this data. Share. Go back to share screen again.
Is that like Mike chasing his dogs?
Okay. But all the data in this upper section here needs to go on that envelope.
Okay.
That is then going to be secured in a good old-fashioned paper bag. So find those good old-fashioned sandwich bags. Yep, street pharmacy envelope is basically what it is. That old pharmacy thing. It will go in there. And that data that we just had above will go on there as well. Once you have that collection, we're going to go to the next screen here. Here's the specimen data collection sheet. Yes, ma'am.
So why are we, is it just chain of evidence basically you can triple protect it so it doesn't get, because you got it in the paper envelope and then you have it in a paper bag and then you have it in a plastic Ziploc. So that's to preserve and protect it?
Yes. Okay. And I'm going to get into that with some more equipment that we have today as we move along here. Okay. Can everybody see that okay, or do you need me to make it a little bit bigger? Again, if you guys want these, I will go ahead and send these items out to you. But on this particular thing, when you take a sample, I'm going to ask you to take 2 samples. What I always hear from all the other podcasts and everybody else is they go out, they collect a sample, and you send your sample out for somebody because they've got a DNA study or you think it's a lab. Or, hey, we can tell you what it is, but you send your whole sample. So I'm asking folks to turn around and break that sample down in the field. You're going to make basically, and all the directions are in everything. So you'll get a sample, and it'll be sample A and sample B, and number 1 or number 2. So like I said, if you had a deer that you have a sample from, so you took something from the hair and the tail and the belly, you'll go through and say, hey, I took that sample from this part on the body, and this is sample A or sample B. So we'll use sample A to go ahead and put things out. I've even made suggestions of folks to keep a little bit of hair in a clear sandwich bag in front, so you could go ahead and take a look at that. So somebody wants to see what it looks like. In June, yes, they are going to be wearing gloves. That's part of the procedure. And again, I'm going to go through a lot of that in a second. I'm just kind of rushing through this quick so you guys can take a look. And again, if you know this, and this is all fillable. It's a fillable doc. You can go ahead and type everything in so you can email everything. If it's a known species, an unknown species, how the sample was stored. So some folks like to... an S on the hair in the email. There's no S. Should be Bigfoot hair. Why is my other thing not coming up here? Hang on one second. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the other screen. Sorry, guys, I hit the wrong button like usual. It is... There is no S. So... it is Bigfoot Hairs 2021 at gmail.com. And again, I'll bring it back up again. Back up. Did I lose you guys again? I did lose you guys again.
Huh?
So again, audio I left for a minute, lost a minute. Huh? So yeah, we're going to go back. Bigfoot Hair 2021 at gmail.com. No S. Again, I want to know the weather conditions you took it in, photos. So then we break it down and we go to research. You're actually going to use natural light with your camera. You're going to use an IR light if you have the ability to have an IR light. You're going to use one of the 9 million UV lights. Yeah. Thanks, Greg. Yeah, I don't want a bot to grab it. And the procedures and everything, I want GPS coordinates, the type of cell phone, the model of the cell phone, each of the UV camera or lights. So I got some new ones. Yeah, I think these were 2 for $14. These are little dinky ones. Perfect to put in the pocket when you're hiking. But it'll actually show you, I want the brand and the wavelength that you're using. That way we can take a look at the wavelengths. That's going to be very important because there are multiple different wavelengths depending on the UV light you're using. So this is a lighter wavelength and then a different one on this one. So this is a multi light level. And light will do lots of different things depending on what you're working with it.
Here's a question for you.
Sure.
Do you have a strand of hair to compare it?
So we have some hair samples. We don't know what they are. We are using this particular study to break down the samples so we can send them out for DNA study. So the whole purpose of this is to come up with a sample base. So we don't have 47,000 different hair samples. Right. Or if we have 47,000, we can turn around and shred that down to maybe 100 or, even less.
But you don't have any repeats either.
It's yes. And we can change them. And again, like I said, the light spectrum will change depending on, you can use different light spec sources as well, because there's 360 different wavelengths of light, at least, or more, depending on what you're doing. Like this one's not moving as fast as I thought it was going to right now.
Is that a volunteer? Maybe she wants to give you a hair sample.
Yeah. So, and again, we're going to try human hair as well, because some folks, think these things are in our lineage. So, do those hair samples, and we have a gentleman that's helping us out with this and say, hey, my hair kind of did something similar, but not quite. Well, we want his hair. We want to take a look at that. And this is something that you can test at home. It's something to get the kids out in the field with. And then once we have, the main basis of the data, we come to this next screen. You can actually drop in the photos to go with it. So these are all fillable. You click right in. It'll take you to your folder, and you can drop the photos in for your UV lights and everything like that. So, yes, Frank, I am barking.
Yes, he was barking at me earlier. Quite rude, if you ask me, but whatever.
And again, there are spots for other descriptions of the locations that you can put that information in. So we want as much data as we can get. Those items, again, are all in the study. The procedure of taking that. And there's a whole bunch in the background, and the whole background is in there as well. Now, when we go out in the field, there's a lot of equipment we take with us. So again, can hairs be collected from road? Yeah, I don't care if they're collected from roadkills or not. I mean, that's where basically the porcupine we had was, it wasn't a roadkill. It was killed by something else. John, yes. Probably full of salt too. Gina asked, are we looking for controlled samples? Yes. I mean, controlled samples are a big part of this. And I would like controlled samples. If friends have friends or family that work at a zoo or work in an area
like an SPCA volunteer.
Yes. Excuse me 1 second. I just have to let them out. So.
Wow. All right. Take your breaks. Take your drinks. Ready? Gimbal. I should have had glass of wine, because tonight I'm not doing anything but playing with the chat room and harassing Mike a little bit. We have to keep him on his toes, so a little bit of wine would have been nice to go with the whole. Maybe at the break I'll go grab one. As our friend Joe Pieri at Paranormal Oddities always says, an adult beverage. Absolutely. So see, hey, wait, where's my ha 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 ha? I wonder how long it's going to take for him to catch on to this little thing I'm doing, but that's okay. How about this? So guys, remember, please like, share, subscribe, and share tonight this broadcast, please. There are a lot of people out there. There we go. How about this? Every time I put this up, everybody in the chat room, just drink with exclamation points. Drink. It'll be fun. Hi. It's like doing the wave at the hockey game.
Okay. All right. So
Where are they? Where are they? Where are the dogs?
they're outside. So, all right. So yeah, the information, the whole procedure and everything is in there. Again, we are looking for designated samples. So if we know,
Hey, I have a question for me in here. Greg, it was quite the experience because, boy, let me tell you, we heard a scream that night. The very first time I went out, I've only been out, I've been out a bunch of times, but like truly, I heard a scream. But the best part about it was they left me in the woods.
it's gonna happen again, I think. Soon.
They left me in the woods. So, well, here's something for you right here. Says you should talk to Cindy Dozin. Not sure on the spelling of the last name, but she deals a lot with hair samples. It might be a good lead.
So Doug has been in touch with Cindy, and we've been in touch with a couple other folks. But again, yeah, like I said, we thank you for that. But yes, I have been in touch with Cindy. But Doug's, his name kind of runs a little bit quicker than mine. So, Doug's on the phone, instead of Mike's on the phone, But yeah, so if I go back and share my screen again, there's actually a location on here, and I got to get out of this particular view here. I upgraded, and it's giving me a little bit more I want. But right in here, if we have a known species, we want to know that. We want to know where that species is, or where that hair's, collected from. If it's a subspecies, we want to know where that is as well. So that's all very important to the study, is having all that data. And then again, this is something you guys can do at home. If you want to get out with the kids, it's pretty reasonable to do this. You're going to need your cell phone camera, and it's going to be turned on video. You're going to need UV light. So this is one from Harbor. I think it was like $6.
Mag light. Yep.
It's UV. No, this is.
Oh,
UV.
sorry, that was your
UV. This is UV light.
Oh my God, I am so sorry. Holy cripes, man.
You can get a two pack kit of these guys. These are 365s. That big online box store. I said I got a 2-pack of these for I don't know, it's $12 or something like that. Again, these are 365s, and you can, and now they're out.
That's okay, because you know what, Mike? It's just about time for a commercial break because it's 9:00 already. So Why don't we take a break, and you can handle the girls, and everyone else can go get their drinks for the second half, and we'll be all set.
Okay.
Stay tuned, everybody.
Quick commercial.
WLFE-DB.com, where you can find vodcast shows, podcasts, and more, like Where's My Sage, Inside the Drag Closet, Across the Pond, Paratalk Radio, Just Cindy, and more. So go check out WLFE-DB.com, where talk radio is a whole lot better. Our shows are your shows, and that there makes for a great talk radio.
Hey guys and dolls, this is Casey DeVille, the better half of DeVille Inc., Baltimore, Maryland. If you're ever in Baltimore, stop in and see me and Tony. Invisible Brie, 5920 Eastern Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21224. Give us a call if you're in the area at 410-400-9641, or look us up on the web at DeVilleInc.com. DeVille Inc., where we specialize in you.
Ted Van Son Jr. is a seasoned investigator and well-versed in the ways of paranormal investigation. He is now ready to share his ideas and unique approach with all of you. Flashlight, recorder, and comfortable shoes. Hit the ground running as you follow this easy step-by-step guide to a fun and thorough paranormal investigation. perfect for first-time and lightly seasoned investigators. Think outside the paranormal box. Learn all about the technology and techniques used back in the early days of paranormal investigation. You can find these valuable resources online at Goodreads, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, and Amazon. Get yours today.
Hi, I'm Jenna Grover. In a world of fashion, we get lost in the cost. Everyone wants that special piece of quality jewelry, but they can't afford it. Not on my watch. I sell handmade quality jewelry for a fraction of the price, and that includes jewelry made of sea glass, natural stone, crystal beads, glass beads, Bigfoot jewelry, and more. If you don't see what you want, email me, because I make custom jewelry too. Check out my website at gbythesea.com. Also, you can email me at jewelry@gbythesea.com.
You're listening to WLFE DB Radio. Now, back to our program.
Hi, guys, and welcome back to Where's My Sage? I'm Mike here with my wonderful co-host, Christy in London.
Hi, everyone.
We're taking the wonderful new pink Sasquatch hair experiment program, and that's what we're talking about tonight. It's something I'm working on with an unnamed scientist and Doug Hychak from the Monster Quest and Legend Meet Science and Legend Meet Science 2. So the three of us have been bouncing some ideas around. We've actually picked up a couple more scientists from a major university that are helping us out.
Yeah.
So please like, share, subscribe, and get this out. So we were talking a little bit about how we're using UV flashlights. We're using the UV with the different setups. We are looking for help with known species, so we can take a look at known species,
Right.
see how this works. So again, like I said, we're using multiple different types of UV lights. Like I said, the other one we're using, this is the old style. Hey, in this age of counterfeit, it's not a bad thing to have one of these things floating around anyway. You can use them around the house to look for things. UV light has been used in law enforcement and scientific studies for a long time.
Hi, Deb.
Also, if you are in some of the southern states or along the coast, it's used to find different types of creatures with exoskeletons, scorpions, insects, different crayfish, anemones if you're walking around the coast. So it's a lot of fun to have. Again, this is another high density one that I picked up. I picked this rock shows. And again, hot. Okay. Fruit Loop. Anyway.
The thing came flying at me. Leave me alone.
So,
Mr. I have a thought process. Let's go.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Christy's throwing my whole schedule off this evening. So
I'm just asking questions. You're not giving a formal
I know.
presentation. Anybody who has questions, please feel free to ask.
Right. And Bigfoot Hair 2021 at gmail.com. Again, I'll come back to that here. So the other thing is, I like I said, I carry a UV light with me all the time. Christy knows we were at a paranormal convention. The guy's selling stones and crystals, and he's like, "Oh, this glows underneath UV light." And of course, he was trying to sell things. I walked by it and shined his table, and he sold everything out because I had that. The other thing you're going to really make
That
sure
actually happened.
So June had asked, are you going to glow up? Yes. You're going to put a kit together for this. And like I said, you're going to be as best as you can. Because if these samples do come underneath and do this pink glow, and you think I would have the pictures up on there, I got to go back into another screen to pull those up. Anyway, we'll be posting some of those. Doug's got some up on his page. So you're going to make sure you have your gloves. And for us old people that had 35 millimeter cameras, these little plastic containers were great to put your gloves in. But the reason we're going to make sure we got gloves in this age of masks, you're going to make sure you got a mask. You're going to have a hat. And again, these are all things that are in there. because you want to make sure. Well, maybe tomorrow night, Joe, because I may just. Oh no, that's a fundraiser. I have to go.
Oh,
anyway,
he will not be going out tomorrow night, Joe. The work wife has spoken.
Joe, we will be really, really, really close to that location too.
Oh, yeah.
So, again, the reason I'm having you take 2 samples, the reason I'm having you glove and mask and everything like that. One is for contamination. We want to make sure we're keeping as much human contamination as we possibly can, minus wearing a Tyvek, suit and a full respirator and everything else like that, which you could do if you knew you really had something. You saw it, man, glove up, suit up, whatever you need to do to keep your stuff away from everything.
So quick question. Can you just catch Deb up real quick? She's new to the show. Deb DeRusse. Oh my God. Wonderful lady. You guys got to meet her sometime. Oh my gosh. She and her husband RJ are just amazing people.
Bigfoot and UFOs, the same as UFOs and cows. You see just as many together, if not more cows than UFOs. Go look for the old mutilation things. However, there are a lot of flaps in the same area. So, that whole, but again, the same time in the 1970s in Whitehall, they were having a UFO flap at the same time.
Interesting.
We don't know what we have here, and we're really panda poop glows under UV light. It may go, of course, it may glow underneath. Yeah. I don't know if panda poop actually glows underneath. I will have to take a look. It may fluoresce underneath it. Just because I don't know, I've been wrestling on with the dogs. I mean, is it glowing on my shirt from where the dogs were on me? This is a pink. This is like when you're looking down. If you ever shine a light through a fiber optic or a clear plastic tube, that's what it's going to look like. And that's one of these days, almost like, I don't know if I do that. So it's going to kind of be, how the edge of plastic, if you shine light through it, that's how the hair is going to kind of look. Again, tweezers and a magnifying glass might help to carry something like this. This one happens to be lit, and you're going to make sure you're going to carry these things. You're going to use tweezers. So these are little ones I got online. These are like the ones you pull the come out of the medical kits and stuff like that. So there's again, you want to stay sterile tweezers too to make sure these are all sealed in here already, so we don't have to worry about getting set. And they come in a 3-pack kit. So if you're like me, I run a day pack and I run a night pack. So my day pack has got my DSLR camera and everything with it. So I have one kit set for that, and I have one that run with my thermal cameras and my night vision and all those things.
And then just in case you don't have a 3-pack, you can also disinfect or sterilize with even just rubbing alcohol. If you need to, you can have rubbing alcohol wipes. It's a dental system to me that's coming out there. Yeah. So you don't have to carry multiple like my partner over here does. As long as you can wipe it off and reset it.
You can get the kits at Hobby Lobby. I got tweezers all over the place around here today. The forceps style that, really gets you a little fancy dancy. I like carrying the little ones with me. They're in a container, so I'm not stabbing myself. So having those items, you're going to have a tape measure. Okay. Again, this goes back to my whole thing. You can go out with this big, heavy tape measure. Great. Makes a lot of noise. You leave it everywhere. I always suggest, and you can get 10 foot. This is only a 60-inch one. Tape measure. So you can measure the height from the ground to what it's at. So if you find it on a tree or you find it, you can go ahead. Another good reason about using one of the cloth or the
plastic,
the seam strip. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you need to have something to tie off, you can go ahead and tie and use it as cordage. So something to have in the woods. Again, having the paper. So it is a biological specimen, you're going to want to keep it in paper. You want to keep it dry so you can get in and set it up. So coin envelopes are another thing. So I'll keep a package of coin envelopes.
Why?
So if I don't have the paper, I don't have my 8.5 by 12 to, or 11 to fold, I carry little coin envelopes. So
That's
I can
a
put
really
my
good
sample
idea.
in here. So I keep coin envelopes in my little plastic bag with my gloves and my tweezers, and I keep that kit. And I think this was like $2.
So why wouldn't you just do that instead of having to fold the paper and everything? Is there a reason you would do the paper first?
It's easier to do the paper because I can just fold the paper up and I can open the paper. This, I may lose some hair in the bottom of the envelope. This is how I started. This is a great way. Or you can fold this up and keep regular, if you're not going to use a paper bag, you can have another paper envelope. So be it an acid-free, good old-fashioned envelope, you can go that too. So I could do the paper in this and then put it in here. The key is to go back and label. Where did you get it? Who was with you? So we have a witness. Where it was taken from. And all that is in the packet. If you email me, I will send you all that information.
That's awesome.
And when you're doing Bigfoot research, it's very important to document all this stuff and take those photos. So in the event that you find, and folks say, oh, I found a track or something like that, you need to have a way of marking those things. And so we were going to measure, again, the height. If you find it on a barbed wire fence, and remind me, Todd, if you're watching, I will get back to your email. I've just been doing conference stuff all week. If there's multiple, get yourself some flags. These are cute ones that Emily over at Forest Floor did. Yep. These are the tactical Bigfoot research ones that she did up. But you know what? You can get some Mylar tape like this, put them on some popsicle sticks. You make your own tags, but Emily did these, and it was
There's
nice.
actually a question here, Mike, before we get too far in.
If it's common research like aliens, okay, alternative physical communication with the dead. There was a hair study, or there was a hair sample sent to the FBI years ago by Peter Byrne. That information is out there. How much is there? Who knows? There's all these, how much is real, how much is urban folklore on the military stuff that has, Bigfoot listed in the Pacific Northwest as being an animal. Till somebody hands me an actual document, that I can turn around and verify. And folks, everything you see on the net, verify. Go over to Steve Cull's website, the Squatch Detective. He's got some great things on. If you see an image or see something, get to know how to use some of the equipment that's out there. So be it, TinEye or Google Images or something like that. If that document's been up, run it through one of those, reverse, that image, and you're going to find out, because a lot of this video, it kind of cycles around every 5 or 6 years. And again, the best part of this, and Gina just said there, my grandson's going to be very excited. This is the best thing about Bigfooting is getting out and learning different things. So, my buddy is not a real Bigfooter, but he's a scientist. And when we started putting this together, the scientific community looking at this is like, wow, what is this gonna lead to? But again, it's gonna get a kid interested in science. When we look at what equipment we're going to need, when you go out there, you're going to need to learn first aid. You're going to want to have a compass with you or a GPS. So teaching a kid how to use a compass and a map and what direction. I took this sample at this location and what was the weather conditions? When I go out in the woods, the compass is with me. A lot of times I will have a weather radio. This is a light with a weather radio, so I know all that data. Because I want to know that stuff. If you're collecting a hair sample, I want to know what time of year it is. I want to see where it's at, so we can look at, is there some kind of migratory route and everything like that? Like I said, each of these things we're going to take a look. You're going to go and take an audio recorder with you. I've got a couple different types of audio recorders with me. Yeah, and Matt does have a great source of info for video techniques and everything like that. But if
look at this, this is a good idea too.
Yes, yeah,
that's very true.
And again, there's something, if you guys can take and go look at that new, and I gotta watch it either tonight or tomorrow. The new On the Trail of the Discovery, that's on the big nest. It looks like a big bird's nest where they actually took eDNA samples, which is a crazy thing. Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. Usually when I'm out there doing that,
he's got a belt, a bag, bags.
There's tack bag, and look, prepared. If you're looking, and that's just it. It's getting to know your gear, know where your stuff is at. We had Chris Vick on from Sasquatch Survival Gear. I'm reading it behind me here. But Chris has got some great packs. He got some great sling bags. Having a good bag that you can depend on, that your zippers aren't going to fall apart,
right? And
you're not going to have a yard sale. That yard sale is when you walk and all your stuff falls out of your backpack or the back of your car because you didn't close the back of the trunk. Big thing. I had that happen to me when we were filming The Journey. When I was climbing a mountain, I was so worried about the kidney stones and the hernias that all my stuff fell out. I do not have a batarang, but there's probably a tomahawk, and always important. You would think there's about 40 of them by my knees here. Always have a good knife with you. Be a little one, be a big one, be a multiple. Whenever there's
yes, he does.
So,
hey, don't knock the sugar. We need the sugar. I mean, we need to pick me up. I usually need my Mike and Ike's and my Sour Patch Kids and whatever else, and he needs his gummy bears.
Gummy bears all the time. Again, marking. You're going to have that marking stuff. Be it you're going to use regular glow sticks, or these are battery operated glow sticks that you can use. These are great for paranormal investigation. These guys, batteries got to be changed out on these guys. But these are, I have green and red ones, so I know what right and left side of the trail, so I don't fall off a cliff.
Good question right there.
You do have problems certain times of year with hunting because I don't want to go in and ruin somebody's hunt.
Right.
I'm not a big guy that goes out and screams either. And audio is very important on when you're doing things. And, that's another thing. Like I said, I'm running digital recorders a lot of times because I'm taking my notes in my digital recorder so I can go back and, But the other thing is I did an interview with Ron Moorhead, and Ron did the Sierra Sounds. So sometimes the good old fashioned, and Christy's probably too young to remember these, but old people like me and some of the others in here, June and Michelle, these are
tape. Are pushing it, but I remember the recorder. Listen, I'm a child of the 80s. I openly admit that. So recorders and tapes, and that was my thing.
But having an audio recorder with you is a good thing. What's good? Hatchet. Well, I'm kind of partial to my own, but
there you go, John. Good answer.
Yeah. But I really like my RMJ Tactical, which is, hang on. This is, if I go in the woods, this goes with me. It's RMJ Tactical. They are not cheap, but this one saved my life once. So it's generally, I carry a SOG with me every so often, but this one's almost always with me. But always make sure you got a gimbal. You know, I saw that gimbal. But
What are you talking about?
Having those little things with you, having a flashlight with you, you know, having a glow sticks.
He said gimbal.
You know, make sure you have lots of headlights with you. Headlamps are a wonderful thing. I forgot I had a whole box of headlights back there. So we have enough stuff to turn on.
Did you really? Because even I knew you had a whole box of headlights there.
No, I have a box of headlights and I have a box of headlights.
Yes.
Make sure you have communications gear.
He's not lying.
But again, when we do this, we're going to document. Documenting is the most important thing we can do. And if you're going to take the kids out, again, teach them how to use a compass, how to read a map, how to turn around, put the gloves on, the mask, and properly take that. And the steps are in our setup on how you're going to go. Again, we're using a black background. I went to a craft store. This is black vinyl for like it's for Cricut cutter. But you're generally going to find this in like the notebooking section. I tried yellow, and yellow works really good. But what we found out with the yellow is the yellow absorbs the UV. So it worked great for what I was doing, but for a solid across the board, black is black pretty much, but yellow, you can have multiple shades of yellow. We were going to try brown, but you have multiple shades of, do I have an almond? Do I have a peanut butter or whatever? That's how things are going to go. Let's see, what else do I have up here? You know, even having, you know, I'm getting older, so this is an audio. This basically is a hearing aid. So it allows me to hear in the woods when I don't have my headphones plugged in. But again, having that tape measure is going to be very important. You know, all these folks say, "Hey, I lost that track in the woods." But you can. I'm going to close that one out, and I just closed the wrong screen out here. I'll bring that one back up. So this one's got to come over here. When you're using that tape measure and somebody says, "Oh, I lost a track. What am I going to do?" Well, I have 6 foot of tape that I can turn around and make a circle. And when I find that track, I'm going to take my flag and I'm going to stick it down and I'm going to make another circle. So if I find that hair sample in a tree, I found that, I'm going to make that 6 foot circle, put another flag out or put a glow stick out. I'm going to do another circle so I can see if I can collect. And every one of those things, you're going to take a photo. And, well, you've got your cell phone with you. You got that, you know. And yes, John, it is a grid search. It's actually a circle search that we're using with these. And again, these were like a 2-pack for a couple of bucks. And again, if I need cordage, I can tie it off to bind things. But we're going to look at depth. And I do occasionally, I have a couple of smaller tape measures in this, the little teeny tiny ones that you get at for free through a lot of things. But the reason that we're going to look at that is, why did that do that? Share screen. If we're going to look at a track, so this is, again, we're going back to Chautauqua County. We were down at Chautauqua Lake Bigfoot. And this is a track Stacy Horton found. Stacy and I were paired up. She's part of the Squatch detective team. And, we found the track, and we were looking at the depth. So this almost had a 3-inch depth into the soil. And that's why I'm using a lot of 3D scans. But when we look at this stuff, I mean, that was a pretty good sized track. So Steve's getting ready here. We've got a form to turn around and cast. And everybody goes, "Why are you using, 3D scanning?" And that's a big thing that I use on my phone, is carrying that much plaster with you gets a little bit bigger. There's Steve calls, taking the cast. And it was a pretty good sized cast. Again, dated location, pulling that bad boy out. But having those evidence kits ready with you to go. I mean, I have 25 pounds of dental stone that Chris, you'll have to mix up because I'm not mixing that stuff up, because the first time I went to cast something, I mixed really nice drywall compound and not casting material.
Well, it's a good thing I have that background too, huh?
Yeah. So
wow, you like went dark on us all of a sudden. What are you doing?
Just cancel and don't save. And so each of those things, to make sure, there's stuff that you're going to take. Yes, I have everything in there for the oh boy, no wonder why Paula. Okay, so again, I'm going to do a quick little overview on something too. This presentation I did down in Whitehall, but just when we grab the things to do this stuff, going to the other screen here, just make sure you're having fun. I mean, that is the most important thing. Get out there, have fun, plan for your adventure. But, there's a process. We're really going to look at the location. We're going to observe. We're going to collect that data. And what you're going to take with you is going to be the same thing. These applications, the attractants, knowing who owns the property where you're going to go. Talk to the people in the neighborhood. If you found an error, what the moon phases are. These are all little things you're going to do when you're Bigfoot. These are all things we're going to do when we collect that hair sample. And did you bring your jacket? You're standing out there collecting, or you're freezing, and you're putting stuff in what jacket? Did you bring food, your water, your phone, all that stuff? Your notebook. Make sure you got a notebook with you so you can write this stuff down. And when you're there, when you're looking and you're collecting that hair, and if you're collecting from the roadkill too, the animal you found on the side of the road, why was it on the side of the road? And again, Matt, I'm going to give you the props for that one. Go back and take a look at the deer we found. And I found another one in New York where the hair was pulled off in one spot. And yes, coyotes will cape a deer, where they'll just grab and pull the hair off. But when you're not finding the skin, but you're just finding the hair and skeleton, it's a fresh kill. You kind of go, what's going on? You document that stuff. So, basically, look at, paper and pencil to write it down, and you can use those dry erase ones. They're in the other cabinet over here to the right. Let's see. Yeah, and again, that 10-foot line is going to be very important. Your glow sticks. Carry glow sticks with you. Yeah, John, it's. But again, what were the sounds? What were the smells? What were all that stuff when you're out there is going to be very important to get that info. Time and date stamps. When you're looking at things. Yeah, I found pieces of deer stuff when I was in North Carolina and found some crazy crystals. And, there's a whole bunch of different cameras you're going to take out there, when you're going to look for that kind of stuff. That's why we're looking at this. Again, the UV is going to be very important, because you never know when you might find, I'm going to use a different video for that one, actually. So stop share. Because you never know what you're going to find in the woods. And is it a bear in the woods? And
or is it Mike snoring?
Or is it? Yeah, it was.
Mike and Aaron snoring in the woods.
Yeah, and that's happened too, where we've been out with folks, but having little things that pop up, and yeah, you guys got the audio, but you don't have me, right?
No.
All right.
Wait, I can see you.
Yeah, you can see me. I'm trying to go to the other video. Stop. So, when you find stuff in the woods, I'm hitting a stop instead of the pause. So, again, when we go, why we're looking at hair and knowing where the location is, this is a prime example. So, go to a full screen interface on there. So, this particular location, you guys don't have the audio, right?
I can hear you. Can you guys hear Mike?
Can you hear the video audio?
Oh, the video, no.
So always pay attention to what you say when you're recording too, because you can record your time and date. So we're doing a mobile run here.
We can
My
hear it
race. Everybody see that hot spot in the middle there? Let's see what we got here. Let's go a little smaller here.
Straight out the window.
So I like to call this the litter box. So in this particular location, I'm going to speed it up here a little bit.
Well, that turns. It's got a tree. It's that tree. It's that hump.
In the middle here, it's just a hump. Well, right there, that is a bear. This whole field is one giant litter box. So when he gets out there, you see how hot he is moving.
Okay, how do we turn yours to color?
Well, he goes to.
I can't explain it to you.
All right, let me get rid of this. Get rid of the audio here. He gets up in the tree here. We have a tree, so we have a height, and I lose him there. So again, having that circle is very important when you go back and look at things, because when he shows back up again, stop that, pause that, audio back, share screen, and not the dogs. So everybody see my wonderful image there? See that heat source in the back corner right here?
Mm-hmm.
That's,
if that don't look like Bigfoot.
So I stand 5'10". The head on that thing was a good another 3 or 4 inches above me, but there's a branch that's right above here that we're able to turn around and look for. We went back to look for samples the next day. So knowing what's in the environment, and we had about 10 minutes of watching this guy, but I knew we have a bear. But that first drive-by, seeing that stand up against the tree, even with night vision, was kind of an interesting run-through. So having that information is very important to where things are at. And like I said, he was up in a tree. People say bear don't poop in the woods. This entire field was nothing but scat. So we were able to go back that day or the next morning and which was an interesting day to say the least, because I ended up blowing tires out on my Jeep, and anyway, had to get rescued, and yeah.
So glad I wasn't on that trip.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
But,
ooh, here's a good one, Mike. Oh, wait. Here we
go. So folks are using drones. I saw some nice thermal. It was actually a high-end work drone with thermal. There were some coyotes. I mean, I knew because wrong drawer, right drawer. I spend quite a bit of time on a thermal camera. But the drones make a lot of noise. But you get some great they still make a lot of noise. But I run a small thermal camera. This is the Seek. Christy has the other brand, the FLIR, but this one doesn't have to have another battery like hers does. You got to keep charged. This goes right in your phone, or it plugs right into a tablet. Yeah. And I have it on cord, so this gets stuck in my window, and this goes outside the car, and that gives me a mobile, mobile thermal setup. It's not the best, but that sensor is better than the little TK. Greg, they're a little more silent, but you're still getting some noise. There's a big thing. Learn how to use a tourniquet. Carry a tourniquet with you in the woods. Very important.
In case you chop a piece of your limb off, or
no. So you trip and you fall, and you get something stuck in you, and you got to get a hole. and then you can use the bigger thermal. That the bear was filmed with this one. So I have thermal. I thought I had the owl night vision. I'll have to go back and look for that. So then again, you're running night vision. So I run a couple different thermal cameras. I run this, the little one I had out here first, which is the Seek. Again, like I said, this one just plugs into a phone, and so this one plugs into a phone. Christy has the FLIR version that plugs into the phone. This particular brand runs off my cell phone or my tablet. So I have an app on my I have multiple tablets with the app on and my phones, and it goes with me, everywhere. And I can record video and audio. A lot of people rent out, got those TKs that are kind of nice, but they don't record audio video.
Yeah. And
then this guy's a couple years old. This is a big ATN. This is only 1x5 magnification. I'm probably going to go to something a little bit bigger, but you're looking at a couple of $1,000s for one of these guys. Carrie the bear does not want to be on. Yes. That is very important. If you don't practice with the equipment you're going to take in the woods before you go in the woods, it's very important.
Yeah.
We were out looking for smaller mammals one night. So this has a built-in rangefinder. I had the rangefinder set up for coyotes. Not good to range a bear when you're using the setting for a coyote. So what I thought was out at a couple 100 yards was more like 100 yards. And somebody was with me, needed to get out of the car. He thought he had a couple 100 yards more to run than what he actually did. So
that's like when I look at a GPS and I say, "Oh, this looks close."
Yeah.
And like goes and drives like for 2 hours because
Christy doesn't know what she's doing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're not going to get into that anyway.
That was
so Gina. So the companies have their own apps that allow you to go through and take a look at things. It's each one's a little different. I have an app for the big thermal that I can actually Wi-Fi to the tablet, so we've used that in the field as well.
What did you do a few years ago?
GPS. Oh, it's here and it's going to be a little farther off. Oh. Yeah, we did that on the moose trip. But having the equipment,
yes,
having the equipment is there. Required camera attachment as well. So, Greg, the Seek does not. So the FLIR uses both. It uses the camera for the phone and the thermal sensor. That one just uses the thermal sensor, which makes it really, really nice. So like I said, that one mount the things, you can use it as a back facing camera actually, if you needed to. So having the equipment, and again, documenting where you're at is so important to the study. And again, folks that can help us with the study, it's going to be very important that documentation is there. And who knows what we might find when we go through and do that documentation. I mean, if you look what the guys have done, in the Bluff Creek project where they found the Humboldt marten and some other animals that we didn't think are there. The scientific end of things, if we find Sasquatch, or do we find that there's another cat, or are there other animals migrating like the Fisher cats? We know they're back in the state, but where are they spread out in the state? Those are all important things. And getting to know your maps and where those items are always important. There are some great what DNR websites, or DEC, depending on your state, environmental conservation websites that'll show you different, areas to go out, and know how to use Google Earth and Google Maps. There's lots of sightings that are out there. But listening, looking, and again, knowing how to read a map, knowing where to look in the documentation. So I found a hair here in X, Y, and Z type of tree. Okay. Well, a guy in Ohio found hair in this type of tree. So, we've been talking with some guys across the country on magnolia trees. We found magnolia seed pods down in Chautauqua County in what looked like a nest. Well, talking to some guys in Kentucky, that's Greg, be safe, buddy. And now the borders are open.
Greg,
we'll get one way or another. You guys come down or we'll go up.
Yeah, for sure.
The guys in Kentucky were finding what looked like a nesting type area with magnolia seed pods. Come to find out, doing some research in the botany and stuff like that, those magnolia seed pods actually, they have natural bug repellent, not insecticide, but they're natural bug repellents. So yeah, like a citronella candle would be. So it was kind of funny to find those. Sorry, cramping the back of my leg there. So having that, gotta get a different chair for this location, I guess. So knowing your stuff is very important to get the information out, and having some books on things. Yes, go ahead and do that for 1 second. Let me grab one other set of books here.
Damn, you caught me.
Yeah, hang on 1 second. I want to grab one other thing here.
Wow, he just takes off in the middle of his talk. What's up with that? Cheers, everybody. And again, thank you for tuning in. This has been quite interesting because even I've learned a few things that I didn't know either. Gina, yes, I could count on you tonight for that. Yes, thank you. But yeah, no, seriously, we're so happy you all tuned in and look at them all. Nice. Mixed classy personal hair. Dude, that is not a mental image I need, especially with as much time as I spend with this man. Okay.
All right. Whew. Okay. Whew.
If he has different clothes on, then I'll get worried. Okay, good. We're safe.
No, I've drank way too much coffee in the last 2 days. There's now Tactical Squatch by Black Rifle Coffee that I brought some to work, and we kind of.
You missed it? Here, do it again.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Not you, Gina.
John mentioned, when I was a teen, we didn't have Bobcat, Cody Fisher's Bald Eagle. Now that you're here, yeah, and they're quite a bit. And that's an important thing. Get something like a Tracker's Hand Guidebook where you can it'll talk to you and tell you what the scat shapes looks like, what a print looks like, so you get to know those kind of things. Get to know your local flora and fauna. I mean, even postcards with different plants in your area, it's very important to kind of know those kind of things that are there. The little maple mandrakes, going this way. But knowing what's available, some of those plants, and here's a really important one to me, are fiddleheads.
Fiddlehead. They look like snails.
Or
seahorses.
So fiddleheads. I don't know how many folks eat fiddleheads, but fiddleheads are the baby, the new sprouts on a fern. There's a lot of people that eat those. Especially
sounds like it's something you'd find on an episode of Chopped.
Yeah, well, like weeds and beans. It's that Mediterranean culture. And mix them up with some really good stuff. But they're very nutritious and stuff like that. But there's
really,
when you listen to stuff, folks talk, even like I'm on a group for scat identification. Sounds weird, but
Like,
it is helpful.
On that action.
Yeah, but there you're gonna find
though.
you're gonna find a hair sample in that. If you know what that is, you're gonna And John's right. Fry them in the spring. Fry them up with some butter. They're great. But again, there is a food source. So somebody says, "Hey, is Bigfoot in this area?" Well, you're looking for those baby ferns. You've got a food source. Find Meldrum's quick guide. He talks about prints and everything, and it's gone. Any other book I'm going to say is,
I want what you're drinking.
I haven't drank anything. I had coffee today. That's it.
You're cut off then, man.
Yeah, I am really cut off. Steve's what would Sasquatch do? He has some really great things about evidence and evidence collection, and those original things. Always important to have some of those basic, right. But the basic skills. The bird apps, the Cornell, the Macaulay Library, very important when you're hearing that stuff out there. So, we can do, I did the Wood Knock show. Guys, you can go back and take a look at that. But this is more about the evidence collection.
Right.
Document with photos, please. You find the hair, take the photos of where you found it. Mm-hmm. Take the photos of the hair in place, in situ, where you found it. Is it attached to that branch? Is it attached to that, my clothes are all moved all over the place on my back clothesline, but I found this clump of hair. Please take a picture how you walked up and found it, because that's going to be important, because then we're going to be able to look at that hair. And John or Joe was with me.
And make sure that your time and date stamp is accurate.
Right.
Because I know mine somehow turns itself off. So sometimes I take pictures to document something. I'm like, well, where's the time and date stamp that I'm looking for? So make sure that's on too.
Take it off from off the screen itself. Take that time date stamp off, because you're in a rush. You slam your batteries in there, and then you take that photo, and you get the time date. You get a time date stamp of January 2015 or something like that.
But not on a cell phone. I'm talking about on a cell phone. Oh, so you're talking about using an actual camera.
If you're using an actual camera. If you're using your cell phone, yeah, but still don't put that time dates. Don't put the time. It's still in the metadata. That information is still in the metadata.
Oh, okay. All right, good to know.
The other thing is, if you're going to take the photo with your camera phone, for your own personal, make sure your location's on. But if you share it anywhere, scrub it. Take it into an editor and scrub the metadata. If not, somebody will know where your location is that you're going. It's also very important if you're taking pictures of your kids or something like that at the school, because all that documentation is in that data. And again, you go back and look at some of Steve's stuff, that metadata is it's in there. What the camera was used, the time of the day, it's all there when you pull some of those things up. So, if you have a location, turn your GPS off. We take 4 or 5 shots, but make sure you take one, because then you can get back to that location. And it's very important to have that data. It totally threw me off where I was going here.
When you approach like said, make sure you take pictures.
Yeah, take pictures
when you approach and how you found something. That's what you were saying.
And again, you having a big camera with a zoom, you're going to get a little better. Yes, the new phones are coming along. There's a 13 in the other room. I haven't tried that new iPhone 13 to see what it's got, but taking the photos, you have an audio recorder on here. Hey, on such and such a date at this time, the weather was this. I observed this. This is with who. If you don't have that paper and pen, use that audio. Use that audio recorder. I have so much data that I keep. Just, hey, I've gone into the woods. This is who I'm with. This is the date. So if somebody ever asks, hey, can you go back and tell me who was with you and on that date and everything? We have that. Because, yeah, I'm moving.
I think if you're going to keep getting up as many times as you do, you should at least wear some funny, interesting pants for us to have to keep looking at.
Yeah.
Like with beer mugs on them or something, or Bigfoot on it.
I got pants on. So, but then when you come up with a checklist, you can go through the checklist and have that information.
Right.
The time of the day, the weather conditions, the month, the season, all that stuff is very important. And I got to remember to take those with me tomorrow. But having that data collection is very important, because when we go back to the hair and coming back into Rocky and Bullwinkle, back to the share screen. When we come back into this, and
Fantastic. As long as you don't come on live with us without your pants on, we are good to go.
yeah. Okay. Don't know how to get out of this view now. Oh, there we go. Anyway, when we come back and look at these things again, how you're going to document there. You're going to make sure you have your digital camera or your phone with you. Let me bring us back over to the side there. You're going to make sure you have your digital camera and cell phone. And the reason I'm saying a digital camera and a cell phone, when we go through to make sure that we document this and we go through and do the experiment, I'm asking folks that if you have somebody that can videotape you going through and doing the experiment, so I can see how you set everything up. If you got a GoPro or something, or just a small video camera, or even your tablet, that way we can record how you documented the experiment when we get farther in. So having that equipment ready to go is going to be very important. So yeah, I am doing a little quick spin around to the back again, because everything we've gone over tonight is making sure you have all that equipment, making sure your hair's covered so your hair doesn't fall in with the other hair. And again, so
wear a hairnet. Bring hairnets with you.
You bring a hairnet. Wear your ball cap. Wear your do-rag. Yeah. You joke about it, but each of those are important, because if you do end up with the standard that we're looking for, and again, breaking that sample down into 2 different samples is going to be very important. And again, we're recording this stuff in a notebook. And again, right in here, it says, if you're going to please take it, if you've got a subject, you've got a bear kill, you've got a roadkill or something like that, you got a pet squirrel, from the head, from the back, from the belly, from the tail, whiskers, if possible, all distinct locations, different spots and different parts of the animal have a different follicle look. And if the follicle's on, that's even better. I don't want somebody to go up and say, oh, I got some hair. So the cow hair I have, they went through and cut it right off the cow. It wasn't, they didn't run their hand down, and it's not loose, so it doesn't still have the follicle. A lot of that DNA that we need is in that follicle. So having that is going to be very important. And again, how we collected it. Where was it located? Was it on the fence? Was it on a window? And again, that's going to give us a height. Is it the raccoon that walked by? Is it Bigfoot? Did something step over the top? Is it underneath? Okay, I got a barbed wire fence with 3 strands, but it's on the bottom strand. Well, okay, what do we got going underneath the bottom strand? And again, you can take that UV light, and Joe's been out with me and seeing that you take that UV light and just run it along, because you're going to see different setups with it. You're going to find different things. You're going to find a different depth perception. Measure the size of the clump. All this is very important, and making sure you have your gloves, your lights, and you go ahead how you're going to collect it. It's going to be very important to make sure we have all of these things together for the sample. And I'm trying to read it off here, and it's big enough on the screen for me to actually see. So does anybody have any other questions? I know I've kind of been really rambling along here. So
I have a question. I hear you. Of course you do. Of course you do. I heard that. You didn't have to say it. Of course you have a question. There it is. You can't even hide it. So
you're medium, not a psychic. Okay.
Anywho, why are you doing what you're doing, and why are you taking it to this level? What is your end game here? What's pushing you and driving you to keep going and doing this?
Every time I get close to walking away, something happens. Be it a rock throw. When we were out, Steve, there a couple of weeks ago, when we were up for the Whitehall adventure, we had the rocks come through the woods. I got another set in Buck Mountain. It's talking to folks like Joe and Matt and Brian Goslin. It was in the Whitehall thing. The law enforcement guys, the military guys that have seen stuff. It's kind of there. The adventure, getting out with some great folks, enjoying things, but now that this particular item we can use for some scientific research, where we've actually got scientists that have said, hey, we want to really look at this project. That's a huge portion of this, where like it was mentioned up above, well, I can get my grandson or my nieces and nephews or my kids involved in this, because you're going to learn about science, how to do a DNA sample, how to collect
what's your goal?
hair. My
As
goal is to
Bigfoot research. What is your goal with all of this?
You're not listening, partner. My goal is to get folks.
Yes, but I want to know about your drive. Let me be more specific, partner. What is your personal drive? Because you've mentioned a whole scope of things. I want you to narrow it down. What is it doing for you? I know why you do it, and it helps to get people out, but what does it do for you? And what are you trying to prove or disprove at this point?
At this point, I'm not trying to disprove or prove anything. Right now, we've got some hair that we don't know what it is. So are we going to find out it already is an animal? Is it a hybrid of something else? Depending on where it's coming from. And I don't have that sample. That's a sample that Doug has. Those things that we can do are really important. It's the ability to get folks involved in the environment, involved in the outside, is important to me. Is there a proof? Yes or no? If it's there, it's there. If it's not there, it's not there. I've met some great people along the way. If we can get kids involved in science, we can get families out in the woods to learn about nature and science and first aid and how to cook outdoors. You're going to go out and set up a campfire. Can you set up a campfire? Can you, make peach cobbler in a cast iron stove? Well, that's part of the adventure going out there, because if you're standing around the campfire and they come into your campfire, well, you were cooking and having fun, and you're out there with friends and family. Again, I got to go out and hang out with Joe and our unnamed scientist, and had the campfire, had the dogs, had some pizza. The guys, partner smoking some cigars and chilling out, listening, hanging out with some friends. The guys from Nesra, who's going to make the best chili or pork chops? You always hear jokes about pork chop necklaces and everything else like that. But the guys have gone out and, cooked pork chops on the grill, and we've got action on those nights. So now, we got action, and we found hair. Well, now we can take the UV, we can use our phone, we can take a look at that. And some of the guys have gone out and bought some, I've got this killer flashlight. My partner's got this gigantic 395, wavelength, UV light. He uses a lightsaber, probably get halfway to the moon with it, because UV doesn't really, what we can see doesn't travel as far. But that particular device goes out farther. And now we put it with the phone and we can see out farther. But there's quite a few folks that have gotten involved in the study that have, really gone out and take a look at this. So is there something there? And are these hair samples, will they come close to us? And then we got to look at what the DNA comes back to us. So having a background in archaeology and anthropology, are these creatures or whatever they are they close to us? You know, that's a big thing. Right. So if that hair sample, so like I said, if we can take 100 hair samples and get us down to 5 hair samples because we've used this, well, if you've got a budget of X, you can test that many samples where you're not trying to test all these samples.
Right.
So as Gina says, it's a win-win. We really, you know, okay, we know that bear's going to react this way. We know porcupine's going to react this way, but this unknown sample is going to react this way.
Right.
Now let's pull it up. We're going to get a bigger microscope than this one. We'll get an electron microscope and we'll look better. We'll look closer at that follicle. But there's a lot of that going in. Look at those minor 7 points that we have on our study here, what you're looking for, that is going to help you in the long run. And again, if we can contribute somewhere down the line to something new, I mean, that's where we can go. I mean, it's
absolutely
it's where it's at. Like I said, those guys on the West Coast, they found what they thought was going to be an extinct marten. Are we going to find something here in New York State? You know, there's a lot of folks say, hey, there's a black cat, there's a black cat, there's a black cat. Well, is there or isn't there?
Right.
Or like I said, are the fishers here? Are there a new hybrid of this or that? It's something we can see, but it's part of the journey. And the journey is the most important thing. As we say on our show, you know, we sample on. That's what we're doing. We're sampling and we're experiencing the universe.
Literally sampling.
We're literally. And Joe, I see it. You know, you took me to show Rasta's Joe's sighting there from Western New York Bigfoot Investigation Group, and that was an important night for Joe to take us to his location where he had his encounter. And him to put me in the location to do the recreation.
It's awesome.
You know, that's important. And guys like that, like I said, that you talk that know they've had something, it's very important to take a look at things. But
hey,
it's
just
always...
real quick. It is after 10 o'clock. I don't know if we have to shut down the WLFE or not.
Yeah, we can shut them down. That's easy enough.
I wasn't sure.
Does anybody else... I'm going to remove that. Do not delete.
John, I'm not quite sure. I understand your last comment there. I'm sorry.
And we'll take that one out. Okay. And save changes. So again, you know, we're coming to us from the regular locations. Anybody else have some more questions? I know that we're on the foot side tonight. Oh, okay. We will, John, we'll swing back around to that. I'll explain it to her. John sent us that private message on the group about his friend he lost. So he's looking for some follow up on that. That's in our private message there.
Oh, I think I did see that.
Yes,
okay.
We did.
Okay.
We did. It was in between the crazy day there.
Gotcha.
But folks, I appreciate everybody sticking us out here. You know, we're at 10 o'clock. It's not a reading show. It's a Bigfoot show. Yeah. But if you're going to go out and you're going to do Bigfoot investigation, you're going to do paranormal investigation, heck, you're going to go out, look for truffles or ginseng or something like that. All stuff you're going to use, you're going to need to know where those trails are, how to use a map, how to use a compass, how to use a first aid kit. It's all the stuff. So if you want to get a kid involved, use the big guy. You know?
Yeah.
Well, you want to go look for Bigfoot? I mean, I took somebody out from work, and
I was just gonna say, Mike loves to take people out.
And I even got permission to use that audio. And
that's priceless.
Yeah.
You think I need a ticker? Oh, we can't hear you again. Nope. Can you guys hear him? Because I can't hear him. It just went
1, 2, 3.
Oh, there you are. There you are. Now we can hear you.
It was interesting. I don't know why that did that. But yeah, I'll have to go in and find it somewhere else for another night. But every time we do something, it's always an adventure, and that's just it. Hey, can I prove it this way?
Yeah.
There's the most important thing. But please, guys, please like, share, subscribe. Hit our Spreaker up, hit our iTunes up. Thanks, June, and thanks, Gina and John and everything. We really appreciate you guys getting the word out. Like I said, if you're interested in this study, please, or you have friends that are investigators, please share this episode. I will be putting that more and more. We'll be getting out there. And you'll see more, because the more data we can get, if we have the known specimens that we can test, that's going to make a big deal. So if you know somebody that's a taxidermist that would like to be part of the study, hey, we appreciate it. It's really important, or a big game hunter or something like that. Hell, 90% of it you could leave right on the animal. So again, the address is bigfoothair2021@gmail.com. And so going back to where I was
I can honestly say this was very interesting tonight. Even I learned a few things.
Yep. bigfoothair2021@gmail.com. I have so many emails and so many Instagrams and
things to remember.
Yeah. We don't have a website set up for it yet. I just don't have time to run another. Yeah. So the best way you can reach out, you guys that watch us, or fans of the show, reach out to us through Where's My Sage, or actually go right over to Tactical Bigfoot Research, and you can hit me on my Facebook at Tactical Bigfoot Research, or hit me there at Bigfoot Hair 2021 or Tactical Bigfoot Research at Gmail. So there's lots of ways to find me or get the word out. So John, it will be 2022. Yeah, unfortunately, this month is run right through.
Crazy.
But again, guys, check out the journey. I go into a lot of that stuff. Look at the Discovery. Those are all on Amazon or through Small Town Monsters, or you get on their squad stuff. And there's a lot of good stuff. Seth's got some stuff coming up. I think they got something out in Minerva. I got to really take a look. Yeah. He's telling me he came across something. So there's some really great folks that are out there doing some stuff. And like I said, Doug's got his, this will probably be, if we get enough data, and that new Legend Meets Science too. So if we get that data, hey, you could possibly be there. So
could you imagine?
Yes. Joe, I am not running. The funny thing is, a week or 2 days later, found 28 in like 5 different spots in the area I went through. Really, So when the paranormal crosses with this stuff, sometimes it does. But I'm not in the UFO thing. But that's a whole nother thing we'll have to look at. So
awesome.
So be safe, guys. Please share, like, and subscribe. Oh wait, I'm just
we have to
we got to promote this thing for tomorrow night.
Promote this. And I mean, we have some cool guests coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, we do.
Hello. Yeah, we do. So if you guys aren't doing anything tomorrow night, come on out to Alfred, New York, and come and see us. We're going to be live. We're going to do a Q&A, and then we're going to have a gallery reading. Terracotta Coffee House, doors open at 6, Q&A from 7 to 8, and gallery from 8 to 10. So please come out and join us. And it's to help promote and support and raise money for the Pioneer Paranormal Society, the group from the college. And it's going to be a good time. Yeah, and coffee. I mean, you guys all know me and my coffee, so it's even better. So,
it's important. It'll help fund these these guys they like to go to those locations, and they're
They go all
counseling. So
over.
to help them, get to the paranormal locations, they're starting a podcast, buy equipment, all that stuff you got to do. You're going to remember about trying to eat and pay for school these days. So
Yeah, seriously. And then next week we have Miss Andrea Perrin joining us from the Conjuring House. She actually lived there. Wonderful lady, very gifted lady. She's all over doing so many things. And she just did a live online event from the Conjuring House itself. We have a lot to talk to her about. So beautiful woman. Cannot wait to have her on. And then the following week we have Heather Taddy.
Yes.
She's been all over too. Really cool girl. Love her. Woman. Love her. She's great. So there it is. So what else?
We got some stuff coming up.
We do. We have some stuff in the works.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So we'll try to get some more live stuff. You never know where I'm going to pop up or Christy's going to pop up on another show. Again, prior episodes are on our YouTube. Please check out our YouTube. Please share our YouTube. We can do some more stuff when we get a couple more numbers in. The subscriber thing's still over on the Instagram. But we appreciate you guys, and and again, please go over, like, and share our Spreaker or Spot, or the audio version of this. This one at least will be a better audio one. So
No.
I'm mumbling.
Yeah. Mike's overtired. It's time to end the show. No, but have a wonderful week, and please stay safe
And sample on.
Good night, everybody.
Night.